Hi, Lucia. So it's your last essay. That's great. You've come so far. Let's see how you're doing. I know you want to know if you're ready to take the exam yet. So let's see what you did here. We've got green energy. Let's see what you wrote. Experts throughout both the developing and developed world have debated whether renewable energy is becoming popular. Even though this development is dangerous in terms of energy security and proponents of this idea have valid points, I believe overall clean energy is cost efficient and also safer for our planet. This essay will argue both views, giving examples from the Scandinavian countries and the National Geographic Organization to demonstrate points to support arguments. Okay, it's for the most part, it's good. I didn't really love this. Is becoming more popular. They're not debating whether it's becoming more popular. Whether it's becoming more popular is clear. It is. We're talking about it more. It's being discussed as an option more. So there's no question as far as its popularity. The question is whether it is a safe and feasible alternative to fossil fuels. So maybe that's what you should have written. Something like experts throughout both the developing and developed world have debated the feasibility of moving solely to renewable energy. Okay, or moving more, or moving in the direction of renewable energy, something like that. Okay, they have debated the feasibility. Yeah, that would have worked. They've debated the feasibility of switching to renewable energy. Okay, that would have made sense, but I didn't like that they were debating whether it's becoming more popular. Okay, I hope that difference is clear. I hope you understand what I'm asking you to do. The rest of it was fine. Okay. On the one hand, there is ample evidence that not all countries can benefit equally from the renewable energy sources. The central reason behind this is twofold. Firstly, some of the countries lack the necessary amount of wind to be able to produce enough energy from the wind power sources. Likewise, other countries do not have enough sunny days to rely totally on solar panels as their main source of electricity. For example, Scandinavian countries are known for almost totally dark winters when the sun can be seen only, you're missing an A here, a couple of hours per day in late January. As a result, it is less likely that Nordic companies will switch to solar energy instead of, I don't like this, the traditional one. Will switch to solar energy instead of traditional sources. Much better choice here, based on fossil fuels. Secondly, if the I can't say that word, meteorological conditions are not in favor, that's awkward. What does that mean? Are not in favor for wind or solar energy. I know what you want to say, but the way it came out is really awkward. So, uh, maybe if the conditions do not favor wind or solar energy, that would have worked. If the weather could, yeah, you could have said that too. If the weather conditions do not favor wind or solar energy for a longer period, there you go. This can directly affect the entire country by creating a crisis in energy production. Okay. Therefore, it is conclusively clear that not all countries can rely mostly on green energy as it can be insecure. All right. So I just paused because I really, in a way, felt that here and here, you're basically arguing the same thing. So I felt it was kind of repetitive. I don't really see how this argument here is different from this one. You're talking about the fact that the climate conditions and the geographical conditions of particular areas do not favor the production of renewable energy. And that's, what both ideas were about. So I didn't really care for that. Another thing that I think you could have mentioned and probably should have is another area of energy security, which is cost. So, in other words, is the renewable source of energy available at a cost that is affordable for most or for many? So that's something you could have talked about. And what could you have said? You could have said that renewable energy has a huge outlay of costs in the beginning, a huge investment in order to, harness the energy and then transform it and then store it. So you could have talked about that and how this is such a prohibitive cost for many that it makes people wonder if, switching to renewable energy is really a smart decision economically. So that's something you could have talked about if you were looking for a second idea, because that is in fact part of energy security. So I thought your grammar was great. I thought your coherence and cohesion was very good. No issues there. Vocabulary, all that. Just some minor errors. For me, the weak point in this paragraph so far, just so that you know, is task achievement, because you said you were going to talk about two ideas, but I really felt that your two ideas were pretty identical. Okay, so just think about that. Let's go to the next paragraph. On the other hand, although there is a case for energy insecurity in some places, the impact of the benefits renewable energy brought to society without that you don't need it, cannot be overstated. Good. This is largely because green energy is mostly free, as careful with this grammar here, as most of the investments are needed for the installation. No, there's some awkwardness here, Lucia. Let's look at it again. It's mostly free, as most of the investments needed are for installation of devices like solar panels for solar energy, or for sun energy is fine. I don't love it, but okay. Do you understand how you need to change the sentence around? The grammar is a little murky here. It is true that this part is costly. However, after this stage, almost all the energy is literally not for at no cost, as sun and wind are free. Consistent with this line of thinking is that green energy is not only less expensive, but more important, is harmless for the environment. For instance, recent empirical research from the National Geographic Organization hypothesized that by using renewable energy for 10 years, the air quality will improve by 60%. Thus, it is clear beyond doubt that the rise of using green energy is cost-effective and environmentally LLY here friendly. Okay, I like this. Little things, little grammar things. Your grammar for the most part is very good. There are some areas where it's like, what happened here? But on the whole, it's nice. Okay. From the arguments and examples given, I believe that even though you're missing a word, there are no, let's try that again. Even though there is some instability for some countries, green energy is beneficial for the entire population and is not harmful for the environment here, and the investments are reasonable. It is clear that green energy will increasingly grow in importance and solutions will be found. You need passive voice here for countries which at the moment cannot fully implement this development. All right, great. I like that. So the takeaway here is that this was good. It was very good. Is it a clear score that I can say, you're in the clear, don't worry about it, it's fantastic? No, because there were some areas that were a little concerning, like the task achievement part in your first body paragraph. And then some of that grammar, some of that vocabulary that was a little like wonky. It wasn't as accurate as maybe as I would like. The good news is that these mistakes weren't consistent. They were just here and there. And then I was kind of like, ooh, what's going on with that sentence? So it wasn't like a consistent problem, but it's still something that I want you to be aware of and I want you to be careful of, because it could make or break that score you need. Okay. All right, let's look at your map. Let's see what you said. Okay, it's just this. The maps illustrate the transformation of here you want the A, of a once non-populated island, what's this, of and around 200 meters. The grammar here is weird. Okay, so the transformation of a once non-populated island of around 200 square meters, I think is what you want to say, into a hospitality area. That's awkward. We don't really say that. Oh, what a nice hospitality area. You would want to use a different expression. Maybe like a resort area, maybe a island suitable for tourism. That would have been much better. Generally speaking, the island suffered major transformations, with buildings taking over the natural habitat across almost the entire area. Okay, fine. I don't love your judgment here. There is a little bit of like a personal opinion. You use the word suffered, which makes it sound kind of negative, and you talked about it taking over the natural habitat. The reason I'm pointing this out is because your task one really should be very very objective with no opinion. And using the words you did, they do kind of betray an opinion that it's a negative thing. Like, oh, what a shame, it was a beautiful deserted island, and now look what humanity has done to it. So you don't necessarily want to express an opinion in task 1. It's really just reporting, okay? All right. To begin with, the trees located in the northwest of the island were cut down and an accommodation area was built instead. On the right-hand side to the sleeping area, no, it's not a sleeping area, it's accommodation. A shopping mall was built, followed by a restaurant in the central north of the island and a hotel on the same longitude in the south of the island, close to a newly added pier. Okay. More houses positioned in a circle were built in the central east of the island, close to a man-made lake, set up in the eastern part of the island down to the forest area. Okay, what's going on with all these direction words? It's a little bit much. You could have split this up into smaller sentences to make it more readable, more understandable. Okay? Let's see. All 3 buildings from the lodging sector could be accessed via a vehicle, while both residential areas had footpaths added for easy access. Get rid of the "and" here. It's just easy access without the article. Along with the northeast forest, some trees were left in the central north of the island, and the beach area remained the same after the development. Okay, so here's the good news. The good news, you included everything. You even included the scale, which I was really happy with. Some people do not, and I think it is important to include. You didn't leave anything out, and you did a fairly good job of it. I thought some of the grammar was a little awkward, some of the language, like some of these long sentences, like this whole thing, close to the man-made island in the eastern part, etc., etc. Another thing that a lot of students do wrong with this map is they go straight to this, and they don't really discuss the before map at all. You didn't do that. You incorporated the before map into your description of the after, but it worked fine. I wasn't upset with it because you did reference it. You did like a comparison to it, and I was fine. When that's not really possible, one thing that you can do is you can spend a short amount of time just describing the before in its own little paragraph, and then move on to what changed after. That's also an effective way to do this, just to give you an idea. So this was good. Okay, I do want you to bear in mind my comments, the things that were a little awkward. So yes, it's good and you're doing great. Do you need more practice? Perhaps, yeah. I mean, basically, you should know that I will tell somebody to go take the exam when I'm confident that their results in writing are consistently so good that I feel, yes, you will get the score you need. I'm fairly certain of it. When I feel that way, I'll tell you, yeah, you're all set. Good luck. But I do think that there's still a little work we could do. I think we can help you improve a little more to get there with confidence. Okay. So you'll see a link in the email I'm sending you on how to continue working with us. Let's see what we can do. Okay, Lucia? So best of luck to you, and I look forward to seeing more of your work. Good luck.